I'm Chris Steele from mytribeinsurance.co.uk, and today we're going to be talking about pre-existing medical conditions and also about how you can access private healthcare in the UK. We're asked on a nearly daily basis whether or not health insurance will cover the cost of treating something that somebody's already suffering from. Anything that you're currently suffering from or have suffered from in the past is called a pre-existing medical condition because it existed before you got a policy. In most cases, health insurance is going to exclude any pre-existing medical conditions that you've suffered from in the past 5 years or are currently suffering from. So, for example, let's say you went to see your GP 3 years ago about some back pain. You then took out a private medical insurance policy, had a back problem and submitted a claim to your insurer. There's a high probability that your insurer is going to reject the claim on the basis of it being related to a pre-existing medical condition. So if you're currently awaiting treatment via the NHS, we know millions of people are, unfortunately, health insurance isn't going to be a solution for you. It's not going to give you access to private healthcare or treatment for the condition that you're currently suffering from. But that doesn't mean to say there aren't other options available to you. All private hospitals, consultants and specialists will allow you to self-pay for private treatment, consultations, appointments and tests. So you don't have to have private health insurance to access private healthcare. You can pay for it out of your own pocket. Okay, it's not always going to be cheap. For example, a hip replacement could cost upwards of £13,000. So it's not small change. You may need to ask friends and family for the money. We've even heard of people crowdsourcing to raise the funds they need for their treatment. Many of the private hospitals also will allow you to spread the cost of your treatment over a number of months or sometimes even years. It's much the same as any other finance you may take out, and you don't necessarily have to get it from the private hospital. You could go to your normal bank, but effectively you can go and get a medical loan to cover the cost of your treatment. So look at it this way. Instead of getting private health insurance and paying a monthly premium, you could instead be paying a monthly repayment on a loan to a private hospital or, as I say, to a bank. Most of us have only ever used the NHS for our healthcare, so we tend not to think about the cost of treatment or the reviews that a doctor or a hospital has. But as soon as you go private for your healthcare, then you open up a world of options. And it is really important that you actually look at the reviews that hospitals have, the prices that they charge, and also what they include within their services. There are, of course, very well-known brands, Nuffield, Spire, etc., these big hospital groups. But there's also smaller private hospitals that aren't owned by groups, and they are still worth your consideration. The important thing is spending time researching who the best consultant and specialist is, which hospital you would like to go to, and then looking at things like patient reviews and learning as much about the providers as possible before making a decision. What we often see is the private hospitals and consultants in major cities, and it's not always the case, but often the case, in places like London and Manchester, they charge more than their counterparts outside of those city centre locations. And that's mainly because overheads in those places are so much higher. So if you are in London or Manchester or Birmingham or another major city and you are finding that the cost of private treatment seems very, very high, then have a look at some private hospitals that maybe are a train journey outside of your city to see if it would be more affordable. Often the care is comparable, but the price will be a bit lower. If you'd like to learn more about how private healthcare and insurance works in the UK, please visit our website, mytribeinsurance.co.uk, or subscribe and watch more videos here where we'll try to shine a light on some of the important topics about going private for your healthcare in the UK.